Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, the ALE double X Prince. Haven't done that one in a while. But yeah, I'm here to kind of do like a follow up to the previous video I made. Basically, I changed the title of what guys should truly be world champions in WWE. Um, and I kind of wanted to follow up because I kind of mentioned NXT and how like a guy like Adam Cole wouldn't be a world champion in WWE, or they would push him way too fast, way too soon. And it kind of gave me it might give some people the idea that I hate NXT, which I don't. Um, it's a way much better show than WWE. I'll say that because they have stories, they have everything. And then I look at Triple H. People are saying that Triple H is like a master at making people over and like getting like stuff over. And eventually this guy's gonna run the WWE. It's a given at this point that after Vince McMahon joins and leaves for the XFL, that will hopefully fail just so we could all laugh at his fucking face. We have to really think about Triple H running the business forever, or for while he's around. There are some pros, like there's definitely a lot of pros I could talk about, but I want to get the negative stuff out of the way. Some stuff that no one seems to like really notice when it comes to Triple H running the WWE. Here's some couple reasons, no particular order, but one of the biggest problems with Triple H, if he runs this show, is that we're going to have to rely way too much on the indie circuit and expect us to know exactly who these guys are. We hardly get any, like strictly WWE talents. We rarely get a Velveteen Dream or an Elias. I don't even know if they were ever in the indies, but it's pretty disappointing. Like, not disappointing, it's just that I want to see, people be noticed because they were one of WWE's own talents. Like, why do we have to continuously rely on the indies? Because that's the only reason why we, I'm not saying fuck indie wrestling. I'm just saying if you get everybody from the indies, then all we're basically doing is just relying on the indies. And not everybody, and don't take this the wrong way, but not everybody who was in the indies deserved really to be in WWE. It's about who can get over, like I mentioned in the other video, but it's about who can like be a star. Like a Daniel Bryan or a Bryan Danielson or a CM Punk or a AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode if they get his shit together. Those guys are over. They could cut promos. They got something that makes them stick out. Even Paul Heyman has brought it up with these guys, that these guys are definitely over. It's just about the creative control. And speaking of CM Punk, it will lead me to my next point about the cons about Triple H taking over. He a lot of people don't notice, and this could be any wrestler, but Triple H, just like Vince, he holds grudges on a lot of people. And a lot of people maybe are just too much of assholes. Like Del Rio definitely does not deserve to come back ever in this fucking business. But people are talking about how people want to see CM Punk come back. Is CM Punk and Triple H ever gonna be cool about this? Like, I really doubt it. Like, I really doubt if Triple H takes over, CM Punk will ever come back. It's already a given that Scott Steiner will never come back. Batista is too big to even be a part of like this. And yeah. There's that. And then another point that I'm gonna say is again, back to the whole indie thing. I do not want these matches to get to the point where they're not believable anymore. That's a big issue that I've always had with this show, and I have always been concerned about that ever since. Who the fuck knows? But you know, after a while, I'm like thinking to myself, do I really want to see matches like Marty Skrull and Silas or Dalton Castle, like that kind of match, and that ROH match that we had at Supercard of Honor? Do we want that kind of match on WWE, and will it click for like a WrestleMania main event? I don't think so. I really do not think so. So there's like a lot of problems with Triple H taking over, and that's why I always feel like he should have like a guy on his side. Now, I don't know how cool Triple H is with anybody co-writing the show with him, but that's a big problem because if we get a guy like a Paul Heyman running the business, like a Paul Heyman is the perfect guy to run this show because he knows who deserves what, and he's a coach basically. He motivated some of the best promos today. Helped motivate a Renee Young per se, and get influence from her. Like Triple H just kind of again he relies too much on the indie circuit and doesn't know really how to create new stars unless if you're Velveteen Dream. He could create some new stars, but it's rare that that's gonna happen. Like Authors of Pain, they're already booked to shit. I don't like No Way Jose. Don't like the dude. Um, and Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are just not doing it for me. But here's the thing. Those guys could have been over if they were booked properly. Bo Dallas definitely could have been a guy who would have been a solid mid card and probably one of the best intercontinental champions out there if they ever went the route with him. But they ruined him so much that it just doesn't matter anymore. Curtis Axel, let's just face the facts. Curtis Axel is not a Mr. Perfect. Just like David Sammartino, for those of you who do not know who that is Bruno Sammartino's son. By the way, R.I.P. Bruno Sammartino. But David Sammartino was never a star like a Bruno Sammartino, and that's the same thing I see with Curtis Axel and Mr. Perfect. So again, those are the problems I got out of Triple H. He relies on the indie circuit. His match qualities will be different, and he holds a lot of grudges on people. Like I wouldn't be shocked if China will never make it into the Hall of Fame if Triple H takes over. Now, on to the pros, which is what you guys definitely want to hear. We will have so much little time for wrestling. Like we will like take Raw off 2 hours. Triple H will find a way to make Raw 2 hours again. He will dumb down the pay-per-views. Hell, they might even have an off seasons for the wrestlers, which will be great for everybody. So that's definitely like something I want to see if Triple H takes over. I'm pretty sure he wants an off season, and hell, they can have the main roster have an off season and then still continue NXT being a weekly thing because they're not traveling; they're in Orlando all the time, so it won't hurt them as much. And then we could actually get some conclusions to their storylines because after they lose the belt, they go right to the main roster, which thus we met guys like Almas and Bobby Roode down the road. So that will be a big pro in my opinion. Another pro that I see happening, matches will mean something down the road. We will have guys like freaking what's its face. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is shit, but I'm pretty sure after a while they will book it right because look at Baron Corbin in 2016. He wasn't world champion, but we were getting to a world champion till he started talking shit on the internet. But I guarantee you Triple H will definitely have all these matches mean more, and stuff like that. Next up, the divisions will all be so much better. Each division will feel like it's like deserves to be part of it. So that's definitely a big pro I would give Triple H. And there's this one thing that could be a pro and a con, and that is Stephanie McMahon. Yes, Stephanie McMahon. They definitely want a McMahon definitely running this, being still in the family. And even though Triple H is married to Stephanie, I could tell it kind of gets to Triple H that they hardly count him as a McMahon, even though he clearly is now that he's married into the damn family. But the point I'm trying to say is, as much as Triple H has some good ideas, Stephanie McMahon is a fucking doofus. Like, she wants to talk about how she's this big influence on the Divas Women's Revolution. That's bullshit. Because Stephanie McMahon was running WWE with Vince McMahon while Shane was gone. While in 2009, we could have easily gotten a women's revolution at any time with because we did have some pretty decent wrestlers. Like, you guys want to talk about the divas being shit wrestlers? Not exactly. We had Gail Kim before she left. We had Eve Torres, who was over as shit. AJ Lee and Naomi were a part of that. Caitlyn was over as shit too. So this whole idea of Stephanie McMahon creating the women's revolution is bullshit, because it really was Triple H. Because he's the only one that actually gave a shit. Stephanie McMahon being a doofus that, oh, I'm married to this guy, so give me the credit. And that's going to be a big issue. Like, I do not want to see Stephanie McMahon continuously take credit over the good stuff of WWE, because she doesn't. And that's a big issue, because she keeps putting herself on the fucking spotlight. Like, she won't, hurt it. There is some pros to Stephanie McMahon still being a part of this, and that's basically that she is good at promoting big events like a WrestleMania. So we have her for that. But yeah, that could be a con. So I'm mixed bag with Triple H. I feel like Triple H should get full control, but we need a guy there to, help him not fully go over. Like, I'm gonna use and this is probably a bad example, but I'm gonna use Vince Russo as an example. He created the Attitude Era, but the reason why the Attitude Era wasn't a complete disaster was because Vince McMahon was there, making sure not everything Vince Russo had for an idea went completely to shit. Like, honestly, if anything, I don't know what they were thinking, but the Brawl for All in the Attitude Era was terrible. So I'm not saying the Attitude Era was perfect. They had some stupid ass ideas too. I'm trying to think of some. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Basically, we need a guy there to tone down some shit, and kind of make sure everything's evened out and have trendy things going on, because the real thing we really need out of WWE is some competition. New Japan Pro Wrestling needs to find a way to finally compete with WWE. The only way, really, if WWE wants to ever compete with New Japan Pro Wrestling, is if their choice. New Japan wants to compete with WWE, but does WWE want to compete with them? That's another big thing. But that's off topic. I'm getting off topic, so I guess I'll just say Triple H, I'm excited for when he runs this business, but I want to see other guys, like a lot of unknown names, get a shot more than just relying on people that we know in the indies, because not everybody watches the indies, and we have to consistently explain this to casual viewers. No, I want to watch the show and be like, yeah, that guy looks like a star and stuff like that. So that's my opinion. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out.